Hi Shweta, hi China, hey Dhruv, Vansh, Azad. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How are things, buddy? Most of you would have got the revert also of the mocks. Has anybody gone through that? China, did you went through your mock review?
Yes, sir. I did.
Shweta?
Yes, sir.
Hmm. How about you, Dhruv? Have you seen that?
No, sir. Looking at it.
I've sent yesterday almost. The first mock is reviewed and is being shared. The second mock should follow in couple of days. You would get a revert on that too. Shana, you have not sent me your second mock. Do send that.
Yes, sir. Sir, I didn't get time to complete it. Like I didn't finish it.
Try doing it today, tomorrow, uh, so that I can do share that with you too.
Sure, sir.
I do want to have one call with you guys, and I'll be informing on that in a while as we go forward. All right, all set. Should we start off with the pre-scene material, guys? Tell me how many of you have read the pre-scene material. Dhruv, Vanch, have you guys read through the pre-scene material once?
Yes, sir.
How about you, Shweta? Shaina?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
Shaina?
No, sir. I didn't read.
Vidisha?
No, sir. I didn't.
Hmm. All right, no problem. So what we'll do is the intent of the session today would be to cover end-to-end pre-scene material in terms of what does this entail, and in addition to that, what we will be covering today is that we'll be also talking on as to what the examiner expects out of this pre-scene material, and while we are reading that, what kind of areas that comes to my mind wherein a question may come your way. We'll be talking on that too as we really go forward and get to the close of the meeting. If there is any question, anything that you would like to ask, just keep, I would say, write it up and wait till the end, because towards the end we'll have a Q&A wherein if there is anything that really comes to your mind after this discussion, then we'll certainly have a word on that. Does that sound like a plan, guys? Dhruv, my friend, does that sound like a plan? Dhruv, you're angry with me? You're,
Yes, sir.
you're angry with me?
No, sir. It sounds like that.
Alright. Alright. Alright, guys, let's just start off with the pre-seed material for June 2024 attempt. What we have in store today is something to start off with, which you all should be knowing, but come what may. This is what the pre-seed material guidelines is, as it has come from ACCA, and this is something that we should certainly have at the back of our mind whenever we are thinking of appearing for the exam. Pre-seed material designed specifically to allow the candidate to establish the sound understanding of the forthcoming question or the company's context. Do not forget that the prime purpose of the pre-scene material is to get the context, of the industry and the company. Importantly, candidate must understand that pre-scene material information should not be used to question spot, and we do not do that, right? We are not spotting questions over here. We are only contemplating that, if this is the problem, then if something like this comes up to your way, then what should be the right way of approaching it? We'll be talking on that as we really go forward. Question will not be set on the information specifically located in the pre-scene information. Do not really forget that. The question on the exam day will always be focused primarily on the information contained within the examination exhibits, and this is what candidates will be expected to focus on as the primary source for the development of their answers. Do not forget that what you would get to see in the exam would be the areas from which the question will come up, and the expectation is that you would really sum up the areas that you are seeing that in the exam room, of course, in terms of answering that. Of course, you would be combining the information of the pre-seen material that you have seen, to give your best shot. That is something that goes without saying any which ways. Of course, some information within the pre-seen material will be useful for you to support the points to be made in the answers, but candidates must, please note this, I'm doing this control U and control B. Please do not forget this. Candidates must avoid what? Copying and pasting large sections of the pre-seen material into the answers. Please do not forget that. This is not what the pre-seen material is for. It is to assist candidates' overall understanding of the industry and the company, not to provide the main source of examination answers. Many of the time students have done that. Shaina, we would not be doing that come what may. Shweta, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
All right, moving on, guys. Moving on to the question that we really have in hand, the pre-seen material that we really have in hand, that is of the PVS, Procuro Vet Services. Now, this is classic on the part of ACCA, and this is classic on the part of Strategic Business Leader exam. I love this exam for various reasons, and one of the reason is that he can give you any situation at any point in time and will throw you into the sea for you to really swim. And this question is the classical example. Who knew that ACCA will come up with something like pet veterinary industry? It's amazing. We never thought, and I have not seen ACCA asking a question like this earlier, whatsoever exams we have seen. This is a very new industry and a very niche industry, I would say, in which we would have expected the least that a question will come from this area, and here it is. That is the beauty of Strategic Business Leader exam, and that is what I love ACCA for, because they are really very versatile in terms of thinking through that they really need to prepare their candidate to handle any situation in their life, and this is the classical example for that. Now, this is basically a pet veterinary vet services in Ireland, of course, a fictional country that they have given. Okay, they, it's like I would say, when I talk about PVS, it's the 5th largest organization in the industry. Guys, these PPTs are being made by me to ensure that you have the glimpse of whatsoever the pre-seen material is. The 27-28 slides that we have today, we'll be talking through all of the entire pre-seen material, and I've taken the relevant context from there and put it out here, which you should be knowing. And of course, when we'll be discussing various questions, various topics that may come your way. We'll be talking on that. All right. Now, PVS is the 5th largest organization in the industry. Okay, established 32 years back, which is good, right? We are understanding that this industry is, I would say, is an old one, is a veteran one, and of course, it has been established alongside 23. The PVS has been established for like 32 years or so. All right, pet vet services industry, Ireland. The overview has been provided. Overview says this is what they are providing. What they're providing: healthcare for pets. All right, we get that, sir. Now, what we have been doing in this industry is that we have been responsible for the health of the pets of the country, and for that, what we really need to do is to employ various doctors and nurses in the clinic. Okay, various vet doctors and vet nurses are being employed. Okay, pets includes, they have really given, I would say, the kind of pets that are very much common there. They'll be talking like cats, dogs, small mammals, birds, small reptiles, and some rodents is something that have been common in that country from the standpoint of the pets. All right. Now, if I really have to talk about the veterinarians, which is like the doctors, they study the medicine, of course, the veterinary medicine for 5 years at the university. They take a very demanding exam, and of course undergo through a very rigorous job training. Now, one thing I really want to talk on, taking a step back, guys. Any industry, for that matter, anything that come your way, there are a few things that you should always have in your mind. For example, you should always think about the supply side of it and the demand side of it. For example, when I'm talking about the pet industry, for example, I'm talking about the vet services industry, I should be thinking about what is needed from the supply side. I need from the supply side the doctors, the nurses, the medicines, the supplies, the I would say the accessories, what would go for the pets. I would need to understand what the regulator is saying. I need to understand what kind of certification would be needed, and so on and so forth. So those are the things that should automatically come to my mind as far as the supply is concerned. Okay, sir, given. Now, as far as demand side is concerned, what should come to my mind? Who are the ones who are using pets? Why are they using pets? How big is the pet industry? How much it is growing? How am I gonna be making money out of this? How is this industry is gonna be like spanning out over a period of time? Why and what are the factors for the people to have pets in their house? What would happen if the demand of people having pets goes down or goes up? What all are the causes for it? And so on and so forth. Those are the questions you should start asking yourself whenever you see a question in your way, coming on your way. And there is no rocket science to it. I'm not really making out anything out here, but I'm saying any industry that really comes your way, right? Shoe industry, airline industry, you should always think about the demand side of it, supply side of it, and start questioning yourself what would happen on the supply side. Who all are the suppliers? Who all would be the people who will be buying this? Why they are buying? What kind of factors that would play in their mind? What kind of growth I can project, and so on and so forth. Once you would have those kind of questions and you start reading the pre-scene material and start reading the exhibits, you would see that you would be able to connect the dots in your mind and you would have the full story playing around in your mind. That is what a Fintrammer does. That's what make a Fintrammer differs in the market, and that is where Fintrammers are owing me coffee around the world. You should have that kind of a mindset, my friend, and you have to build that from the scratch. There is no rocket science in this question. We have a question of a pet veterinary service. Okay, it is a service industry. Okay, I'm thinking about what is the supply side concern. Okay, I'm thinking about what is the demand side concern. Okay, now I am reading through as we go forward. Is that clear, Dhruv? Are you with me, my friend?
Yes, sir.
All right, moving on. What is the I would say lever on the supply side? We need doctors, the veterinarians. Okay, they have to study the medicine for like many years, 5 years they say. Okay, they're taking demanding exams. Okay, they're undergoing rigorous on the job training. So becoming a veterinarian is not easy, becoming a pet doctor is not easy, we know that. Now there has to be a motive, my friend, for somebody to become a doctor, right? In terms of having more and more salaries or more and more money or whatsoever, right? So there has to be this profession has to be lucrative for this profession to keep attracting the talent, keep getting the people. That is something I should have in my mind, come what may. Is that clear, Shaina? All right, moving on.
Yes, sir.
Services provided. What kind of services are provided by a vet clinic? Let's understand that. They provide annual vaccination. Got it, sir. Pretty much clear. No problem. Diagnosis of the health condition and diseases. Got that. Medical treatment once a condition, disease or injury has been diagnosed. Okay, sir. Done. Dusted. Prescription of the medication. Got that, sir. Prescription has to be given any which ways. All right. Sale of both prescription and non-prescription medication. Okay. Medicine sale is also included. All right. Routine surgical operations. Yes, they have to do it in case there is a need. Got that, sir. Referral of serious medical issues. Yes, sir. If you do a reference, of course, that's again something to be looking forward. Guidance and advice on the pet care. Yes, sir. I get that. Then, sale of the specialist pet food, which addresses specific health and age-related issues. Get that. Sale of other products, such as accessories, right? The bedding, the cages, the toys of the pets. All of these things are the ancillary ones. All of these things are the accessories. Got that. Consultations are usually booked on the telephone or online. Whenever, Shweta, something like online comes up, your mind should start blinking, your eyes should start opening up that there is an element of online impact of sale over here. So there would be an impact of internet over here. There would be an impact of social media over here. Let's see how the things unfold for me. Is that clear, Shweta?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm only ensuring, my friend, that you guys are not sleeping. In Ireland, the average consultancy time is 15 minutes. Now, why the hell is giving me 15 minutes? Think about it. Just think about it, Dhruv. Why the hell is giving me 15 minutes? China, any idea why the hell he's giving me 15 minutes?
Because it's a specialist, each pet treatment it's not standardized, right? Each pet will suffer from different kind of, it would demand different diagnostics. So
He's giving me average consultancy time, my friend. Average consultancy time is 15 minutes. So all that what you're saying is taken into consideration while defining this average. But why do you think he's giving me average? I'm just trying to give you a picture, my friend. If I tell you that on an average I take 1 hour in a class, then will your mind not multiply how many hours Pankaj teaches in a day? You'll say Pankaj at most will teach 8 to 9 hours in a day. Good, got that. Now if Pankaj teaches 8 to 9 hours in a day, how much money Pankaj would make out of it? You have an understanding of that. Now, if you know that these many courses are to be delivered during the year, you know how many Pankajas you would need in order to manage that as an operations. Isn't that right, Shaina? Isn't that something very basic for any finance guy?
yes, sir.
Now, he is giving you 15 minutes that is needed on an average by a vet doctor. You should have in your mind that effectively means, let's say 8-hour shift, doctor would manage 4 patients in an hour. 8 into 4, 32 patients doctor manage, let's say 1 hour break. So effectively 28 patients a doctor can manage. And so on and so forth. I'm only making things out, my friend. You never know what comes in into your exam. But I'm only trying to give you some levers, some pullers that you should have in your mind. Who knows when he says that you have to expand business, but you have scarcity of doctors? Who knows when he says you have to expand business, but you have scarcity of time during the day? Who knows? This 15 minutes will play a calculation over there, which is expected by you to written up over there. Is that clear, Dhruv?
Yes.
All right. Moving on to market structure. Traditionally, vet businesses were small, run by one or group of veterinaries. Okay. Typically with 1 or 2 clients. Traditionally, okay, good. It used to be like that. Now, growth was slow earlier and organic, driven by acquiring new clients. All right. We get that. As the number of pets in Ireland increased, business grew larger. Okay. Larger vet organizations began acquiring smaller ones to achieve cost savings through economies of scale. All right, we get that. Acquisition activity is expected to continue for the next 5 years. Why the hell he's talking about acquisition? That is happening in the industry. Is it not something that he's pointing out to me, that you may get to see something in the exam which is to do with the acquisition of PVS or acquisition by PVS of somebody in the industry? It may come your way, right? No, Shaina, it may come your way. It is, acquisitions are happening day in and day out. So you may have to apply the principle of acquisition over there. You may have to do a cost benefit analysis over there. You may have to deploy the SFA or SAF analysis over there to really see the suitability, the acceptability, the feasibility of the decision that you would need to take. We have discussed in strategy at length. If it really comes your way, Shaina and Sweta and Dhruv and Isika and what, all of the names, they are very much prepared for that. Isn't that, Vidisha?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, moving on. The multinational organizations, especially those with pet foods divisions, have entered in the vet industry due to its profitability. All right, I'm getting the sense. Some of the parts of the industry is very profitable. That is one of the reasons multinationals are really getting in. So it may happen that some of the multinationals may want to acquire PVS also, or as PVS, I may want to acquire somebody else. All right, I get that. These multinationals see industry as another market for the pet food products. Okay, 3 multinational organizations currently control 52% of Ireland pet vet services industry operating clinic worldwide. 52% is with the three multinational organizations. 3 larger independent vet organizations operate clinics regionally. Okay, hundreds of smaller vet businesses, typically with fewer than 10 employees, operate locally. That's traditional thing, but that is there, which effectively gives you I would say a signal that if you have to acquire somebody, this is the universe that is available at your disposal. Is that clear? Yes, sir. Then comes the market share. They have given us the market share of the major players in Ireland. There is, we have Glowers Group, Bellstone, Hewlett Group, Dennis Wet, and then we are there, PVS. I'm considering we to be PVS. Then we have PVS, then Good Health Veterinaries and others. We are 6%. We are having 6% of the market share. And 31st March 2004, the Ireland pet service industry employed almost 36,000 people and generated a revenue of $2.5 billion, which is huge, my friend, in terms of what is being generated. And I know I have a share of 6%. So there is a big time opportunity for me to grow and become bigger. Who knows if PVS has to acquire Dennis, or if Dennis has to acquire PVS or somebody else. Any permutation combination can really comes into a picture. But I'm hoping that there is something like that would come up your way, wherein you have to think about expansion, think about growth, think about growing your numbers from 6% to ahead, and so on and so forth. All right, industry outlook in Ireland, let's talk on that. If I really talk on the revenue, average revenue growth in pet services was 3.5% over the last 5 years. Expected revenue growth in the next year is 6.8%. So my expectation is huge and is higher than what it had been in the past, which effectively says that I have a positive attitude or outlook of the industry at large, which effectively says that people are looking for more pets in their houses. God knows why, but they're looking forward to that. Let's check out on that in terms of why it is the way it is. All right, advances in pet nutrition, diagnosis, treatment, and care are leading to longer pet lifespans. Pet ownership has been increasing for a decade and expected to accelerate, increasing the demand for the services. I get that. Revenue growth is also anticipated by rising popularity of the pet healthcare plans, which spread treatments over the past several months. Okay, changing in the attitude towards pets positively impacts revenue, with client willing to spend more on the pet care. So we are living in the country, my friend, wherein there is a huge demand of the pets and the demand is increasing, which is all the more good for us. Most pet owners view good pet health as necessity and use vet services regardless of their disposable income. So people are not really concerned on their income. They are more interested in terms of taking care of their pet. Effectively, it is somewhere meaning that there is an emotional factor that is really playing on in the industry. Is that clear? Yes, sir. Now, cost. We have a cost for the industry, which is what? Which is staff cost, including training, as the largest expense for the pet vet organizations. Okay. Purchases include medical supplies. Other cost includes premises, administration, health and safety, and marketing. Very generic. We understand that. Clients. Historically, pets are mostly owned by those over 35 years of age. They generally have pets. In the last 5 years, 60% of the new pet owners are in the age of 16 to 34. So the fever is going on. Even the people of the less age bracket are really having pets now. 16 to 34 is an age wherein people are really looking forward to that. God knows why. If maybe they are alone, or maybe they love pets, or maybe there's a culture of pets so in that country, who knows what. Client prefers clinics that are easily accessible for quick travel in emergencies and minimize transportation time for the pets. Again, a thing to highlight for yourself. If it effectively says that client really want these services to be closer to their house. All right, moving on. There is an increasing demand of convenient consultation time, such as evenings and weekends. All right, pressurizing vet organization to extend their hours. All right, get that. Many clients compare consultation fees among clinics. Okay, cost is an important factor there. Despite they're not concerned about their income, but they want it to be as competitive as possible. All right, I get that. Now, moving on, we have challenges within the industry. Let's read that. That industry as a whole in Ireland, what kind of challenges they're having. Recruitment and retention of the staff are becoming increasingly difficult. Supply side of it. Supply side of it, difficult. All right. There is nationwide shortage of veterinarians due to rising pet numbers and fewer people training as vets due to high training cost. Again, a supply side. I had that in my mind. We know that, sir. We are Fintramers, sir. We gonna be rocking in the exam. We are not gonna be forgetting these kind of things. I'm loving you, my friend, for that. That is how your mind should be working out. That is how you should be thinking about whenever you get to see a situation like this. The more you will think, the more you would think logically and commonsensically. You are there from the examination standpoint. All right. Long working hours driven by staff shortages, increased pet ownership, and client demands for 24/7/365 days service is a problematic one. All right, of course it would be, right? Negotiating with pet owners who can't afford the treatment is a common challenge. All right, the issues are impacting staff well-being, with 5% of the staff being absent due to work-related issues, stress. Okay. Staff retention is problematic with average turnover of 13%, which is good number, boss. If we have 13% average attrition, it is not a small number. All right. Client loyalty is low due to high competition among clinic on fees, quality of care, range of services, and opening hours. These are challenges, and I think these challenges, if you read, right, these challenges are very normal challenge for any business, right? For any business. The only thing that I feel different over here is that doctors are not there. Doctors are not, there are less doctors than what the need is. So I think that's the only difference. Otherwise, all the problems are the same. People are concerned about cost, there is high attrition, we are not able to fill in the gaps, people are stressed. All of that is very similar to what we have been observing in any other industry. Is that clear? Yes, sir. Moving on. Challenges within the industry in Ireland. Although competition has fallen to some extent over past few years, because industry consolidation and competition went their way, there is something that you should be knowing, as it has been written exactly the same in your pre-seen material. There is a source of competition, and then there are services being provided. Large budget pet superstores are there. Two superstores, they have given the name, sell wide range of pet food and pet accessories at lowest or the lower prices. It's a concern. Online pet medication providers, it had to be like this, right? We are living in the era wherein online thing is really impacting. Who knew that online pet medication services will also get into the picture? It is also a concern because online med providers are getting their way, and that is the reason, industry at large is facing a concern due to this competition. Then the telehealth. Telehealth uses electronic communication and information technologies to enable healthcare professionals to provide healthcare services remotely at a distance. There are several pet telehealth providers in Ireland now, and they're providing services to their own clients on behalf of their organization. Some only offer remote services, and of course, since it is remote and telephonically, they can be done anytime, anywhere, and that is again causing issues for the industry at large, because somewhere they're becoming a big time competition for us. All of these pointers, God knows if he really gives you a question in the exam that wherein you have to add something to PVS in terms of what they should be doing. Now, if PVS has to do something in their mind, he has to deal with all of these areas, because he has to devise and work out a strategy wherein they are available online, they are able to give some kind of telehealth services and so on and so forth. So they have to have some kind of a right balance of the boutique of offers that they would have if they want to ensure something rightfully happens for someone. Is that clear? Yes, sir. Innovation and development is again something that was being written, wherein what they're saying is that technology is a major challenge in the pet vet service industry. It is everywhere. We know that. Advances of human healthcare like AI and machine learning are enhancing medical, surgical, and diagnostic procedures of the pets. It is really impacting everywhere in the world. These technological developments have made an industry more capital intensive, of course, since if you have to deploy the AI, the machine learning, you have to deploy a good amount of money onto it, training onto it, which effectively means it will be more somewhere not feasible for you in the long run. It is there. Some new services are expensive to be delivered, but technology has reduced in terms of the consultation time, which is a big one. Business management software and client communication have benefited from digital technology. Okay. Major groups like Gloas, Bellstone, and Hood are using digital technology for more effective marketing. this is again a signal, my friend, that PVS has to do something on the digital marketing. So there is something that may come your way in terms of enhancing their market, would certainly entail the digital marketing thing, because the top players of the market are really doing that. Do not forget that. Telehealth is increasing flexibility and convenience for the clients, and we saw that clients are really needing that, which effectively means that PVS may also have to deploy this if they do not have this. I'm only trying to signal out things, my friend, that you should carry in the exam room to make sure that you really have that with you. Please do see this video at least 2 times so that all of these pointers are really staying on in your mind. This presentation would also be available to you and of course will be sent to you. Just reach out to us on WhatsApp and we'll be more than happy to share this with you. All right, some of the industry bodies, regulation and legislation. Of course, there is no medical profession without regulation. This has to be there. The veterinarians must register themselves with what? Chartered College of Vet Professionals. They call it CCVP, which regulates them and support public interest, and they safeguards the pests. Okay, CCVP's code of conduct outlines the professional responsibilities of the doctors to the pet owners and professions and the public at large. CCVP runs the standards of the pet program. So effectively, whatsoever PVS does, right, they have to somewhere comply with the rules and regulation of CCVP. We understand that. Higher level of SPP accreditation requires demonstrating benefit to the vet team, patients, clients, community and the environment. Many doctors and nurses are members of Ireland Vet Union, which campaigns for better workplace conditions. This is again something that is being highlighted, which effectively makes me feel that if there is something that comes on the vet side, doctor side of it, the AVU, the Vet Union, I have to quote somewhere in some shape or format that I have to take care of Vet Union in some way or the other. Is that clear, Shweta?
Yes, sir.
Organization with vet service industry have several legal obligations. Again, this is something we should know. For example, compliance of a specific health and safety legislation to protect staff and general public. For example, pet inflicted injuries such as bites, there is a compliance being done onto it. Requirement to display a large notice informing the clients that they can request a written prescription. This means the client need not buy the medication at the clinic treating them, but they can source it from anywhere. Now this is something, if PVS is doing, God knows, I'm yet to read the PVS, right? But PVS should know that they cannot force their clients to take medicines from them. You cannot force that because regulation is like that. Provision of and to pay organization to provide on their behalf 24/7 365 emergency services. You have to have that provision, and that is mandated by the law. This is what was given as far as the pet industry is concerned. Any question anyone has before I really move on to what is being said for the company? Any question, anyone? Shaina, Shweta, anything that comes to your mind? Dhruv, Vansh, Ishika, विदिशा, इतने सारे बच्चे हो, कुछ नहीं पूछना है? आजाद.
I think, sir, I had a little confusion with regard to the growth rates they had given, and then with regard to the industry growth rates, basically. Like, I think there is a future possibility where there is an increase in growth, like 6.8% they had mentioned. It's looking more profitable. But then you can see these, issues being faced in the industry. So that I was finding it a little contradictory, or I'm not sure, I need to read it again. So that was something I was feeling a bit confused.
नहीं शाइना, दोनों अलग अलग चीज़ें हैं. दोनों अलग अलग चीज़ें. So for example, I might say that there is a huge compliance need in the medical industry. But that doesn't mean that medical industry is not growing, right? There is a compliance need, there is a regulatory requirement, there are issues. Despite all of that, industry is growing because the need of the hour is that industry has to grow. Because there is a demand.
Okay.
So we don't have to mix it up with the compliances or regulation or the issues. There would be like areas wherein growth supersedes all of the issues that the industry may have. Think about it. There is a big time issue for having for somebody eating unhealthy food, right? All maida thing, all junk food. We all hear it day in and day out. There is a big time social media campaigning. There is big time now, I would say, awareness that is there in the junk food industry. Despite the fact Domino's is growing like bonkers. So issues or compliances or regulations are something to be read separately, and growth is to be read something separately.
Okay, not to mix the two.
No, you cannot. You cannot. Cigarette smoking is injurious to health. ITC share is getting doubled every year. Kingfisher is injurious to health, but sales are doubling up every year. There is no correlation, no? You're getting my point?
Yes, sir.
we are getting objective on the industry. We are not getting emotional on it. We're getting objective. Okay, industry is expected to grow. Industry is doing this. Industry has these many compliances. We're getting objective onto these kind of things, and then we'll see what the question will put ourselves into, and then we'll decide what is to be written.
Sure, sir. It's more clearer now.
Yeah. Anybody else, guys? Dhruv, Vanshika, you just joined. पिटाई होनी चाहिए. जो देर से आ रहे हैं ना मेरे बच्चे, सबकी पिटाई होनी चाहिए. मेरा भी संडे है भाई, मैं भी यहाँ 11 बजे खड़ा हूँ. आओ ना मेरे पास. This is something for you, my friend. Dhruv, any doubt?
No, sir.
Ishika, Azad, Vansh, anything from your side?
No, sir.
वंश तू मेरे से नाराज है?
No, sir.
मतलब कुछ मेरे से बात ही नहीं करता यार.
Sir, after class.
ये बात ठीक है, मैं तो सबसे करता हूँ यार वंश. पेपर कब देना है वंश? अभी जून में ही देना है ना?
Yes, sir. 4th June.
Fair enough. All right, let's move on to PVS in terms of the background, what the company we have in our hand. All right, PVS is the 5th largest pet vet organization. We understand that, that's given. We are 32-year-old organization, which is big time, my friend, in terms of age. Growth has been mostly organic and some acquisition of small independent businesses that have happened in past. You may get to see another one, or you may get to see somebody acquiring PVS. Who knows that? All right. It operates 168 clinics, so we have huge presence in south of Ireland, only south. Okay, varying in size from 1 or 2 veterinarians to 9 or 10. Okay, so north, west, east is something I can look forward to. Head office is in south of Ireland, that provides what? Finance, IT, purchase, legal facility management, and HR functions. Okay, it employs 2490 staff, 860 doctors, 925 nurses, and 705 support staff, including receptionists and head office staff. Okay, so we are around 2500 people team. Staff ratio of vet to vet nurses to support staff is in line with industry average. Okay, so we are not out as compared to the averaging of the industry. We are very much into it. Financial year ends on 31st of March. Very basic information, but I'm consuming it. All right, moving on. Strategic positioning that I have. Some other pet vet organization charge significantly lower prices than PVS. Oh, I'm high charger. I'm charging a high time money. Okay, PVS has differentiated its services offering using 3 key service features. The features have historically driven previous growth. Okay, so effectively I'm charging more than the market, and I have a competitive advantage because I'm offering three differentiated services. Number one, location. Over 85% of the previous clinics are in town centers, and we read that people like to go nearby, so it's an advantage. Okay, innovation. PVS has developed a wide range of innovative services in pet care, including therapy of pets experiencing behavioral problems and use of acupuncture for pain relief. It has won numerous awards for these innovations, which is a big time thing, right? All right, quality of service. PVS have historically had an excellent reputation for the quality of client service and patient care provided by knowledgeable, happy, and engaged staff from welcoming and comforting clinics. It has prided itself on knowing its market and giving its client what they need. So quality is differentiated, innovation is certainly a big time game changer, and location is a big time advantage that I'm able to offer. All right, moving on. My strategic positioning. PVS has won Ireland Vet Organization for the year 11 times. Last award was 6 years ago. Oh. 6 साल से I have not been able to win anything. It is something to be looked into. Okay, industry consolidation and increased competition have led to decline in previous revenue. So despite the differentiated service, I am observing decline in my revenue. Do not forget, I'm charging higher, and despite that, I see a decline in the revenue. That means my number of patients are falling drastically. Okay, market shares had decreased every year since 2020. Okay, competitors have been aggressively undercutting previous prices in recent years. Okay, price is an issue, price war is happening. Despite offering different service culture, these competitors have been capturing market share from PVS, which is something to be really concerned about. If I really talk about ownership, the owner has retired, or the founder one has been retired and is no longer involved in managing PVS, but he still owns 11.11% of shares. So Peter has that much amount of shares even right now at this point in time. The board of PVS consists of 8 executive directors, including an executive chair and recently appointed CEO. Okay, recently appointed CEO. God knows why he is recently appointed. Each executive directors own 11.11% of shares. So effectively we have 8 executive directors. 8 into 11.11 means right around 90% of the ownership has been given to these executive directors only. PVS is unlisted. Highlight that. PVS is unlisted. It is not a listed company. So effectively, many of the compliances that comes from the listing side of it would not be there. And entirely equity financed. Okay, I get that. Now, if I really have to see the board structure, we have the executive chair, then we have the chief executive officer, we have the non-executive directors. Chief executive officer is being reported by COO, CFO, CMO, human resource directors, legal directors, and business development director. This is what the structure is all about. If I really have to talk on the board and the organizational structure, there are 8 executive directors and there is 1 non-executive director. So do not forget, my friend, while this is not listed, but the non-executive director is just 1 in the group. Out of 8, there is only 1 NED, which is a cause of concern when it comes to the independence of the board. It is a concern. While it is not listed, do not forget that. But God knows if He wants you to get listed. Or if He gives you something in the exam wherein He asks you that what is the problem with the board. Is there a problem with the board? God knows if He gives you a situation wherein something is being contemplated that we want to take this company to public, or some public company is acquiring and they are seeing the issues in the board and you have to talk on those issues. This is an issue. Non-executive director being 1 is an issue. As a non-listed company, PVS decided not to establish audit, nomination and remuneration committee. Again an issue. You are such a big company, such a big in terms of revenue. You cannot have a situation wherein you're not having audit, nomination, and remuneration committees. You certainly should have somebody like this. All right. There is an internal audit function that reports to CFO. Oh, do not forget that. Internal audit function cannot report to CFO. It has to report to the audit committee. It is a big time problem. The conflict of interest is lying over here. If there is an issue comes up in your exam that really talks on something like this, you should know that this is an issue. I have to highlight that. Do not forget that. Shweta, you are with me on this?
Yes, sir.
All right. Chief Operating Officers oversees the day-to-day operations, which is fine. Clinics are being managed by clinics manager, which is fine. Senior veteran reports to one of the 5 district managers, who in turn reports to COO. Okay, that's fine. District managers collaborate with other executives or HR or legal issues within their responsible clients. Clinic managers report to senior vet and then to district managers and then to COO. I get that. Now, board and organizational structure. The other board members' area of responsibility they've given, and let's read that. We have Chief Financial Officer. Responsibility is what? Responsibility is that he's responsible for finance, purchasing, and internal audit function. Internal audit should not have been there. Chief Medical Officer, quality of patient care, medical treatment provided in the previous clinic. Human resource, talent management, compensation and employee benefit, training, and health and safety. Now, ideally, the compensation and benefit should somewhere be linked to the compensation committee, but okay, it is what it is right now. Legal director, minimizing the previous legal risk by advising the other directors and senior management on any major legal or the regulatory issue, which is fine. Business development director, increasing PVS revenue by identifying and developing new business opportunities as well as expanding the brand presence. I get that, sir. Now, moving on. The board and organizational structure, if I really have to talk on that, one thing that is specifically written in your pre-scene material, I've really taken it up from there, and I want you to have that at the back of your mind, which is decision making within the PBS is primarily centralized. It can be an issue. Decision making, if it is centralized, you cannot hold your team responsible because you are responsible making all the decisions. You would not be able to, I would say, have the vet doctors responsible for, or the marketing managers which is being responsible for what they're delivering. So that is again a problem, what I feel. Centralized decisions including pricing, new service rollouts, centralized decision including pricing, new service rollouts, and salary levels is something I would say something which is not right. Centralized decisions should not be there. District managers and senior veterans are tasked with generating growth for their respective clinics. Okay. Their responsibility include adhering to the board set parameters and ensuring efficient resource utilization, despite the fact that decision is something that they cannot take. Decision is something that the centralized management would take, which is not right. Coming on to the information systems and use of technology, again, this is a big one because we have seen technology is one of the impacting areas of the industry at large. Previous uses off-the-shelf business management software for the client and patient information and scheduling in use for 8 years. So effectively, my technology is not up to date. Off the shelf means that I've bought it from the market, which is available on as-is basis. It is not something very customized or very much relevant or prevalent from the marketability standpoint even today. But since I bought it 8 years back, my technology is just not updated. All right, previous website offers the search function for finding the nearby clinic, basic service information and contact details for booking consultation. So effectively, I'm not that good in terms of the technology, and I'm not using technology the way I should. My website is not that updated, or I would say modernized, to take care of various other parameters in terms of getting more and more sales. That is again something to be looked forward to. Website also include information about the executive teams, previous mission and the values. Okay, Email communication is used within the PVS and with the suppliers, but there is no client communication via email, and PVS has limited social media presence. Again, an issue, straightforward issue. We all know that we cannot live in the today's world without social media marketing, without having a presence on the social media. It is a problem being straight away given out here. All right, a staff intranet provides internal news, industry updates, staff resources, and blogs. Okay, despite a history of innovation, PVS hasn't made major investment in technological advances in the pet care. We all understand this. This is certainly an issue. If something like this comes up your way, wherein they would ask you the reasons, or they ask you what can we do to improve, all of these areas you can pick it up and you can talk about. Coming on to the services. Now, let's discuss what kind of services are there. There are a range of services being offered by PVS clinics depending upon the size, with larger clinic providing a wide range of diagnosis and surgical procedures. If a smaller clinic can't perform a procedure, then patient is referred to a larger PVS clinic which is there. Despite historical innovation, PVS has had little innovation in recent years. Again, a point to note, that is the reason I have prepared this, my friend, so that you can just take the pointers from here and have it with you, because something like this would certainly be pinpointed in the exam, and you can just have it from here and write it down there. PVS clinics operate from Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 5:30, and we know that there is a need that is being displayed from the industry standpoint, that they need people to be available almost all the time. 24/7. We have to think about that as a methodology. There is something like this on strategy may come up your way. We should know that. PVS introduced PVS healthcare plan 2 years ago to attract and retain clients, offering routine treatments for the monthly fee. I think it's a good initiative. We'll see as to how it has gone. Plan members can also plan for expensive treatments later, impacting PVS cash flows, but resulting in higher client retention rate, which is good. If I have a plan and somebody is registered on the plan, so effectively I have to think through the philosophy, how can I increase the members in this plan, how much I can do that, how many members I can really add on to it, and so on and so forth. PVS relies on town center visibility and word of mouth recommendation of customers acquisition, with limited marketing activities like posters, local newspapers, ads, etc., etc. Again, a pointer to be really taken up, which is something I can have in our marketing plan if we are required to do that. Is that clear? Yes, sir. Coming on to the supplier side of it, what all will be my suppliers. PVS obtain all the medication and suppliers for the pet treatment from Ireland Vet Supplies Limited, the largest vet wholesaler in Ireland. Okay, so I have a dependency on one. Okay, that's not good. PVS has long-standing relationship with the supplier, and centralized purchasing of PVS head office allows for good bulk purchase discounts, which is good. But dependency on one is something that should really hit my mind like anything. All right, PVS food and accessories are being sourced from various suppliers, including Gloas Group, which owns several pet food brands. Pet food and accessories are sourced from various suppliers, including Gloas Group, which owns several pet food brands. So effectively, I am buying from my competitor only. Okay. Something to consume. Who knows if something like this comes up and you have to highlight that or point it out differently. Individual clinic purchase pet food and accessories directly from the suppliers. That's also something that one would really need to have a relook on. Risks. They have mentioned some risks. Let's read that out. Again, something very important in terms of what can go wrong. PVS maintains a risk registers and risk management program. Is the responsibility of the internal audit function, and who in turn report to the CFO, which is not right. Risk covers on the risk registers. Okay, and are important to most pet vet organization in Ireland, and extract from the risk registers is as below. We have risk of competition, key employees, health and safety, and adverse publicity. From the competition side, from national, regional, and local organization, particularly on price, we have huge competition there. From the key employee standpoint, we are not able to attract and retain staff, particularly the doctors, due to shortage in the market. We know that. And then from the health and safety, failure to comply with the health and safety legislation, which is a compliance need. I'm not doing that. It's a problem. From the adverse publicity side, from mistakes in diagnosis and treatment, that is again something being highlighted. If something on this really comes your way, you may have to think through what kind of things you want to implement for not having these mistakes happening. Artificial intelligence, machine learning can be the one. There can be a need of having some health and safety director taking different kind of ownership to ensure that these things are being taken care. There is certainly a need to craft out a program in which you are able to hire new doctors. Maybe you have to go to medical colleges, maybe you have to have a tie-up with them in terms of ensuring that they are able to attract the people joining this program, and then these people will be getting hired by you, and so on and so forth. All of those ideas should ideally come to your mind when something like this comes your way in the exam. Is that clear? Yes, sir. Now, if you really see the financial information, again, this is the graph I've picked up from your pre-scene material. This effectively says that from, let's say, 2009, 10, 11, 12, and 13, we have always seen a decline in the revenue. 10 was the highest, and since then revenue has been falling. My satisfaction score has also gone down since 2010. My staff turnover has increased, so my attrition has increased since 2010, so I'm in a bad shape there. My clientele, the new client additions that I used to do, has gone down since 2010. Every year it is declining. So you may have to, God knows what would be there in the exam, but now you know that from 9 to 10 we have observed increase everywhere, but from 10 to 13 we have seen decrease everywhere. Whether it is new client age, whether it is new staff, whether it is satisfaction score, whether it is revenue, we have seen a decline everywhere. So we are not doing good for whatsoever reason. So you may get to see a question in the exam wherein he may want you to devise a strategy, let's say for increasing the revenue or increasing the satisfaction or reducing the turnover or having acquiring new client or a mix of it. Who knows, something like this comes your way, but it is certainly be there on the cards, because if problem is being given, then question would certainly come on to it. Some of the website extracts, this is the, I would say, first time I'm seeing something on extracts coming in the pre-scene material, but it has given you that there are some extracts on the from the website that has been given in the pre-scene material, which says the mission and the vision and the strategic objective, which is to give our client what they want, retain staff so that we can deliver the best, be the leaders in the vet care, and deliver profit via differentiation. If I really talk on the vision, to be the vet organization of choice, and our mission is to ensure that patients have long and happy lives. So it is very much aligned to what we have read, but we should certainly know, because if something like this comes up from the strategical standpoint, then mentioning something on the vision and the mission and the strategic objective would be helpful for the client, for the examiner, to really know that you're really doing the right level of analytical skills. At least the analysis skills is really being taken care if something like this is being displayed and demonstrated in the exam. Coming on to the website extracts, they have given the values, which is teamwork and collaboration, which is very well needed, honesty and integrity, which is again something to be looking forward to, and then the quality and care, which is something that is making them differentiated in the market. And then there is a extract on the career opportunity at PVS. So effectively it is to attract the talent, which I'm hoping that since they're already struggling to get more and more right doctors and the right staff, they're opening it up on their website. But that's another way to really position it, saying that only positioning it on a website would not be helpful. Going viral on the social media, or crafting a plan with various medical colleges or various I would say colleges per se would be important piece over here. To have different cohorts, different interns, there has to be a different strategy to really induct as many doctors as possible. Towards the end, we are proud holders of the standards of the PETS program accreditation. They say that, and you know that they used to be having this award for like long time back, but last 6 years they have not been having it. So if there is something like this comes up in the exam, which gives you the reason why they're not having it, again, that is something to be answered or to be rectified or to be addressed in the best possible way. That really brings me to the end, guys. This is what I really wanted to cover in the pre-scene material. I've really given it a detailed eye in terms of what I really wanted to cover, which you should certainly have in the exam room with you. All the thoughts, all the discussions, all the, I would say, pointers that are there, which I felt relevant ones I've picked up over here. As I said, I'll be sharing this with you. And of course, you have to see this video at least 2 to 3 times to really have a complete grasp of your pre-seen material, and just rely on the concepts that you have learned and the things that you have, I would say, understood. I don't see that there is something extraordinarily difficult that really pre-seen material really says. So I think just go with the flow. There is nothing to be worried about. Understand the pre-seen material in at length. Revise that as many times as possible, and there is nothing to be looked upon. With that, guys, any question anyone has, I'm happy to answer. COO reporting to CEO is not a problem, Vansh. I was saying internal audit should not report on to CFO, but COO can report to CEO. I don't see that to be a problem. Vanshika, you were saying something?
Sir, I was saying, can we get this presentation?
Yes, you will get it. We'll be sharing that with you. This presentation will also be shared, beta, and the video will also be shared with you guys.
Okay. But by reading this pre-screen, I am feeling this is a better industry than the last attempt pre-screen.
Beta,
Cricket one was quite, I would say.
football, not cricket, football.
Yeah, football, keep an eye there. It was quite more confusing.
कोई पता नहीं है बेटा. You never know what the exam will give you, right? Too soon to judge anything. You never know if the question comes on a very different angle. But at the end of the day, we know the basics, right? If we know the basics, then we only have to apply the same, right?
Exactly.
Any question, anyone, guys? Dhruv, Ishika, Shweta, Shaina, Vansh, Vidisha, anybody? Before we will wrap up.
No, sir, no doubts.
Dhruv?
No, sir. Currently, no doubts. But it was good. Like you can see, actually, quite a lot of concepts covered in the pre-seen material, like wide variety. Like that was something very insightful. Like a lot of ideas come in, but only thing is within the time frame to like write things. That's the
See, that is the reason, beta, I told that go through this presentation. We'll be sharing this presentation with all of you. Go through this and see this video once more, twice. That will give you an idea. We have spoken so many pointers today. When I was reading this, I had so many pointers in my mind, which I've tried putting down and have it as a perspective. Now, when you will read this, when you will have the video being done for you again, you will know now all of these pointers will start, somewhat getting planted in your mind. Then it becomes easier for you to complement the exam when you will step in the exam room.
So trying really hard not to spot the questions from the pre-seen.
I never do that, but I only want to tell you that this is the problem, and if this problem is being asked, then how to answer it. That's what my strategy is. I don't do spotting because spotting would not help. God knows if he has given you these many things in pre-seen material, and let's say in the exam he gives you that some new technology is coming and PVS is contemplating that technology, what should they do? Who knows? Now anything and everything that we have spoken will go waste, right? But we have gone very strategic in terms of our analysis, that what is working in industry and what is not working. What is this company doing? What is working well for this company and what is not working well? What is the challenge of the industry? What is the challenge of this company? Now we know that. Now anything that may come your way, Vidisha, we'll take it on our stride and answer that with the knowledge in our mind at the back end.
Yeah, we created the base for the questions.
Yes, that is the whole intent of me, crafting this presentation for you, to give you the base understanding of what is happening in the industry and what is happening in the company. What are the challenges on both the sides? It's more like giving
It's
you
very helpful, sir.
the strategic positioning of the company in the industry.
Yes, sir.
One says the strategic objectives in the website extracts are also not fulfilled. Can a question? Yes, of course, yes, Vansh. It can certainly be asked. मैं तो हमेशा से ही बोलता हूँ Vansh, and I keep saying this, that you should somewhere always know the mission and the values and the strategic objective of the organization you are dealing with, because somewhere in some shape or format you should always write it. कहीं पे मीट हो रहा हो तो write it that it has been met. कहीं मीट नहीं हो रहा हो तो write it has not been met. At least it will make the examiner feel that you, being the strategic business leader of an organization, you understand that and you are really giving it back to the examiner that I know it and it has not been met and I'm highlighting it and I'm a Fintrammer and I'm gonna be giving Pankaj Dhingra a treat after clearing the exam. Always do that. Always do that. These mission statements, strategic objectives, in some way or the other, you have to give back to the examiner, saying it has been met, it has not been met, this will mean that this will be met, this mean that this will not be met. For example, any acquisition may come into a picture. An acquisition is against your strategic objective. So, and you have been contemplating that acquisition. You should say that, this acquisition is good, financially it is nice, but it is not being aligned to the strategic objective we have. Examiner would be super happy once and he'll call you that you are the best SBL candidate that I have ever seen. You're there with me, Vansh?
Yes, sir.
Anybody else, guys, before we really wrap up? I do want to give back your Sunday. Don't eat it all.
So my last question will be, actually when we read the pre-screen, we don't read it again in the exam. We only read it once when we are preparing at home. So when we are really reading the question of the exam, so somewhere when we read the exhibits, we are able to map what is the information to be used in that particular question. But what should be the exact strategy of using the pre-screen information as well in those questions? Like, since we're not reading it again, so I might have found that problem that I was not being able to map that information to my question or use that information in my answer.
नहीं वंशिका, वो सोचना भी नहीं है. I do not have to read pre-seen material again sitting out in the exam. If I'll start reading that, then I will not be able to finish the exam in 3 hours. I will not read that. The whole purpose of giving you pre-seen material is कि घर से पढ़ के आओ. All that see, होता क्या है कि हमें लगता है कि हमें प्री-सीन मटेरियल, अब मान लेते हैं हमने प्री-सीन मटेरियल आज सुन लिया, हमने 1-2 बार और इस प्रेजेंटेशन को पढ़ लिया, हमने वीडियो भी 2 बार देख लिया, उसके बाद हमें प्री-सीन मटेरियल नहीं पढ़ना है बेटा, हमें पढ़ना भी नहीं है और हमें जाना भी नहीं है. वी आर डन विद इट. All that we need is that we read the exam with the information in our mind about the industry and about the company. Irrespective, आप ये मत सोचना that you are not able to pick up these many pointers from the pre-seen material and put it out there. He specifically says that do not pick up the pointers from pre-seen material and put it there. He specifically says that because he doesn't want that to happen. He wants you to use the examinable content in the exam, which is the exhibits. But have the information. For example, you know the mission statement now, right? Mission statement is ki 1, 2, 3. You know the mission statement. Now, if you know the mission statement, you don't have to read it again. You should have it at the back of your mind. But अगर कभी लगे कोई चीज़ रेफर करनी है तो you can certainly refer. But my suggestion would be pre-seen material should not be read in the exam. You are done with it. जिस चीज़ को वंशु आप 2 बार 3 बार पढ़ लोगे बेटे पहले, उसको मुझे एग्जाम में पढ़ने की जरूरत भी नहीं है ना फिर बेटा.
सर मैं पढ़ने की नहीं कह रही थी, मतलब मैं कह रही थी कि उस इंफॉर्मेशन को हमें एग्जाम में ज्यादा यूज करना चाहिए या नहीं.
नहीं करना है. नहीं करना है बेटा, नहीं करना है. जो अंडरस्टैंडिंग आपने प्री सीन मटेरियल से ली है वो लिखो, बट प्री सीन मटेरियल से इंफॉर्मेशन निकाल के नहीं लिखनी है.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else, guys? Before we wrap up, last minute. All right. If there is nothing, guys, I would say thank you very much for joining in. I think we have really covered a lot in last 3 days. All I need is that keep doing the good work. You are really working hard on it. We have done a lot together, including the revisions, including this. Just follow what is being discussed and what is being suggested, and do not forget to touch the feet of your parent before you really go and sit for your exam. And certainly do not forget to treat me with my cup of coffee once you've cleared it. Thank you very much, guys. Look forward. All the best. God bless.